Hi there, back again with another cooking video. Tonight I'm going to make some T-bone steaks and show you how to make them really easy, and they come out nice and juicy and tender. So here we go. First we will start off with, you need a broiler pan, and then I use just some prime rib steak and roast seasonings, and then some steaks. These are about 3/4 inch cuts, and I have rinsed them off and they're sitting there to dry. The first thing we're going to do to make cleanup a little easier after cooking our steaks is I've sprayed down this broiler pan well with some just canola oil spray, and that will help after we're all done. The second thing we need to do is make sure that our oven rack is up on the second spot down from the top of the oven. So that helps us be prepared to cook. Next, we are going to take some of that seasoning mix. We're just going to sprinkle that on. If you don't have seasoning mix, you can always just put on some salt and pepper on each steak, kind of a generous amount, and then we're just going to pat that in. Your next step is to take some kosher salt. It's a little milder than table salt, so you can be a little bit generous and it won't hurt the flavor. So we're going to pick this up and we're going to push the kosher salt just all along the fat ridge, and that's going to give it that nice salty flavor on that fat. Makes it more enjoyable to eat. Okay, and then when we I'm going to take this over to the broiler pan. We're going to put the seasoned side down. Now that both of them are seasoned on the underside and that fat is salted, we're going to go ahead and add some more seasoning to this side. One thing I forgot to mention that's important is that I took these steaks out of the refrigerator and let them sit on the counter for about an hour so that they could get a little bit more to room temperature. So on my cooking times, if you have pulled your steak right out of the refrigerator, you might need to add on a minute or two since it wasn't room temperature to start with. Then we're going to come on over here and we're going to hit broil, and I like to broil on low and just hit start. We're going to let that preheat for about 5 minutes. Okay, now that your oven has had a few minutes to warm up nicely, we're going to go ahead and slide these in on that top shelf. Now this might make some of you nervous to do this. It did me the first time, but you just got to trust the process. So put that in there, and then we're going to go ahead and set this timer for 7 minutes. Okay, and what you do when you're broiling something like this, the oven to temperature regulate will turn off and on and off and on once it has gotten to the temperature it wants to be. Well, I don't want to do that. I want that broiler to stay on for constant heat on my steaks. So I'm going to leave the door open a little bit. I'm going to stick around. I'm going to keep an eye on it, make sure everything's okay. But you want to keep that door open so that that heat source just stays on and stays on. So we'll check back in about 7 minutes. Wanted to take a second to show you that, I don't know if you can pick up on all those sounds, but it's going to, make a lot of noise while it's cooking in here this way. And you might even see like some grease pop up and make a tiny flame for a second and fizzle right back out. and that's okay and all normal. Nothing to fret about. If you feel that there's a fire of some sort starting, then just close the door. Our 7 minutes is just coming up here. Go ahead and pull these guys out. Take a look. So far, we are halfway through. And look at how beautiful that is. And so we're going to carefully flip these guys over. Something like that, right? There we go. Flip those guys over. We're going to put them back in. I would say for probably another 6 minutes on this side. Same method, just push it to the back and keep the door open. Set our timer for 6 minutes. Okay, so I wound up only needing about 3 minutes on the other side with these particular steaks tonight. And so what we're going to do then is we're going to go ahead and cover this with aluminum foil. You don't want to cut into or do anything with these for 10 minutes. If you do, it's like a water balloon. All the juices that make the steak so nice just come out when you cut it open. So you want to go ahead and let those juices just rest a little bit and stay in the meat, and it'll make for a better steak. So I'm going to cover this for 10 minutes. Okay, our timer is up. Pull this beautiful steak over here. See, this is just beautiful. And we like ours a little bit more on the rare side. And of course, if you want that done a little bit more, you would really just keep it in maybe another minute. Not much more than that. We've got just a lovely cut of steak there. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to make steak today. Nice, easy way to do it, and pretty quick actually. Using the broiler pan is a nice way to get a good crust on your steak and have it nice and juicy and tender. Enjoy.